Good morning, everyone. My name is Julie. I am the owner and founder of Lady Faulty, and you are either watching this video on my YouTube channel or on my Facebook group, which is Lady Faulty's Light Healing. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about shadow, and then I think this is probably going to be it. We're going to start to go more talking towards gratitude after today, because we're getting close to Thanksgiving and things. And even though to me Thanksgiving's not really a holiday per se, but I love it just the same because it's a day that I get most of my family all in the same place for a couple of hours. So I do like that part of it. But yeah, Thanksgiving is really not a holiday to me per se. I go more towards like the pagan holidays. So Thanksgiving isn't really like, I mean, it's a good day to give thanks. It's a good day to have your family together and stuff, but it's just one of those weird things for me. I wouldn't really call it a holiday, but anyhow. So yeah, today we're going to talk just a little bit more about shadow, and then we're going to start transitioning over into talking about gratitude. And then, of course, then we'll start to talk about Yule. And in there somewhere, we're going to talk about Scorpio and Sagittarius, and that's going to round out our year for the zodiac signs. So before we get too far here, I'm going to go ahead and light our candle. All right, so we've got our candle lit. And we're going to go ahead and do a quick little smudge here. I tell people you should smudge at least twice a week. If not, if you can, every day. But if you can't do every day, then at least twice a week. I was going to say twice a day. No, twice a week. It's really good. I'm a big advocate of the smudging because not only for its spiritual purposes, ceremony and things of that sort, but it is really good for clearing out that negative energy. I mean, that's not a spiritual thing. I mean, it is a spiritual thing, but it's actually been scientifically proven that it does do that. The other thing is it's also antibacterial. So as you can tell right now, I'm starting to get the head cold that's been going around here. So really trying to just breathe some of that in right now. But it's really good to do our hands too, because we touch a lot of things. We shake hands with people, whatever, touch things that people have touched. And so really good to smudge your hands. Sorry. As I mentioned, cold. My nose is going to start to run. And that's really annoying. All right, and then we're just going to do our Palo Santos real quick. I posted a nice little video last night of how Palo Santos is harvested. So if anybody's interested in that, they can go watch it. Again, it's just, I love the smell of it. If nothing else, I love the smell of it. So I'm going to just leave that there and let that burn a little bit. So you might see this smoke. Doesn't want to stay there. There we go. All right. I apologize. All right. And so we're going to do, it's Thursday. Thank God it's Thursday. I woke up this morning so wanting it to be Friday, but it is not. It is Thursday. Last week we pulled Enhanced Perception. So we're going to go ahead and put that card back and pull a new card. All right, so putting that one back in. I'm going to shuffle these up. And don't pull a card for anybody particular. I can, if you want me to, private message me or comment in the comment section, and I will certainly pull a card for you. But this card pull is for the group as a collective. So it's not for just any one particular person. It's for all of us as a group. And a lot of times I think they resonate. I think they hit pretty close to home, at least for me most of the time. There seems to be little synchronicities in there. But, okay. So today we have pulled receptivity. Try saying that 10 times fast. All right, so receptivity. When someone shares their truth with you, listen. Open channels for divine wisdom to flow both toward you and through you. Something or someone seeks your attention right now. Remember that even animal spirit allies can be messengers of wisdom from the higher dimension. Be open to the messages as they come, in whatever form, and ask for clarity if needed as you integrate what you receive. This goes with your throat chakra. We should already know that because it's blue. And the crystal is angelite, and the herb is elderberry, which elderberry I should definitely be getting some of because elderberry is really great for people who are suffering from colds. So I should get some of that. And angelite, I do have some around here somewhere. I just don't know where it is. My project for this weekend is to... Well, thank you, Connie. Thank you for popping on. We smudged and we've lit our candle, and so now we're pulling our chakra card. And so I will post this up on the group page. So if you didn't hear me read it, I will go ahead and post a picture of that and get that up on the group for you so you can read that. And I was just saying, we're going to finish out, I think, shadow season. We're going to talk a little bit about shadow today. Nothing too heavy or anything. And Connie, you'd like a card? Okay. So what I'll do is this card, when I pull during the video, is kind of for everybody. And what I will do is I will pull a card for you. It'll be after I get home tonight, so it'll be around 6 o'clock or so. But I will pull some cards for you at 6, okay? Because just by the time I get off here, I usually have to rush right to work, and I don't want to rush pulling a card for you. So I will definitely do that. I was going to write a note, but Connie. Sometimes I forget things, so don't feel bad if you have to remind me. You're not being pushy. But yeah, we're going to just round out talking today, this week about shadow, and then next week we're going to start talking more about gratitude and things of that sort. Get into more of the holiday festive spirit. But I just do want to remind people that even though Samhain, Halloween is done, shadow season isn't really just done. Like a lot of people are like, okay, October 31st is done and we're out of shadow season, and now we're going to put up our Christmas tree and bake our turkey. And but it's really not quite like that. It took all of September and October for the thinning of that veil to happen, and it's going to take a little bit of time for that veil to kind of thicken back up and be closed again. So we are still in shadow season, but a lot of people don't seem to really, I don't think it's that they don't understand it or don't know it, but the retail locations want you to just go right from Halloween to Christmas. So like on November 1st, like Christmas music is playing and the Christmas decorations are out. And it kind of, morning Becky, and it kind of brings you out of that reminder that we're still in shadow season. So like I said, nothing too heavy or too deep today. Just a little reminder that we still are in shadow season. Going to kind of just talk real quick, not real long, about, pain and trauma. That is really, I don't want to say really, that is part of your shadow. And there isn't a question of whether or not you have suffered from something. the question is, what have you suffered from? As a human being, we all suffer from something, whether it be physical trauma or emotional trauma. We all suffer from something over our lives. Some of us, it's very early in our childhood, and that can leave a really big impact on your life. But it can also just be more of an adult thing as well. Suffering loss of someone really close. There's an endless, I could go on and on about the different ways that we could suffer. And I don't really want to do that because it's kind of depressing. But we've all suffered from something. And whether or not your traumatic experience was more traumatic than my traumatic experience and stuff is really not important per se. You know, I mean, I understand that some trauma is more traumatic than others, but the effect that it leaves on us that can linger for a really long time doesn't need to be because yours was really traumatic and yours wasn't so traumatic. It's all how we deal with it. So maybe you suffered a really great loss and I suffered a small loss, but I might handle that loss way worse than you did. If that's kind of making sense, hopefully I'm explaining that so it makes sense. But so it's not the trauma itself necessarily, but how we handle it as well. So it's kind of pieces that go together. So it's not a competition basically of whose trauma was worse. It's really how we handle it as adults. As children, you're a child. You shouldn't be expected to understand how that works, and you shouldn't be expected to just know how to cope with trauma and deal with trauma when you're a child. But as we get older, we can start to be more aware of what is going on with us, and we can start to work on ways to heal that trauma. And that's really tricky, because a lot of times what comes out from us doesn't really seem at the time what it really is, what it really stems from. For me, there was no big trauma in my childhood. There was nothing that happened to me that was really severe. But all through my childhood, I always felt like I wasn't enough. I wasn't good enough. And it's not necessarily anything that my parents did or anything. I had an older brother that just seemed to do no wrong, and I didn't seem like I could do enough. I couldn't be as good as him. So I went the other way and I was naughty. I was a horrible teenager. I was a mess. And even now at 46 years old, a lot of times I feel like if I'm not good enough at something, that I have to try harder. And I don't like that feeling. And there's really nothing wrong with wanting to do better, but it's because it stems from, sorry, I'm just reading Connie's. We will heal around the choices, twists, and turns we take in progress into the trauma. Exactly. Yeah. So as adults, we need to kind of figure out what that pain is, what that trauma is. Some of us, it's very clear what the trauma is. It was a specific event or something that happened. For me, like I said, it wasn't a really big trauma. There wasn't any big day of anything that happened. It was just growing up. I always kind of had that feeling like I wasn't as good as my brother. I wasn't good enough. And so then instead of trying to deal with it as a child, because like I said, we shouldn't be expected to know how to deal with some of these emotions and things as a child. I rebelled. I was very naughty. I got in trouble in school. I drank. I did drugs. I, was at every party there was. I was just never home on time for my curfew. Would get grounded, and the next day if there was a party, I would just, even if I was grounded, I would just leave and go to the party anyway. Yeah, I was I was the hell teenager. So yeah, sorry, Mom. But that still kind of stems through for me as an adult. And it's, like I said, I'm 46 years old. I'm going to be 47 in just a couple of weeks. And it still comes back to me sometimes. And so we've kind of nicknamed it as in the class that I'm in the Soul Shift group, we've kind of nicknamed it as shadowing all over people. It's kind of a weird term, but that's one of the things that is kind of what we need to be aware of when this happens. Excuse me. For me, it is mostly at work. I have a boss who's very challenging. We'll just leave it at that. And I don't think all of it is my shadow, but some of it is my shadow. But when she comes to talk to me, I get very defensive. I get very angry. I snap at her. Yeah. And her and I have had conversations about this, and she's aware. And she's aware that I am working on this. And sometimes she deals with it very well, and other times she snaps back at me, and it turns into a little bit of a cat fight. But yeah. I have talked to her about this and, said, this, you trigger me. And if I just turn around and walk away from you, just leave me be, because I need to take a minute, and then I will come back and I will talk to you, and we'll have hopefully a civilized adult conversation, and not me being reactive instead of responsive. So when you start to feel yourself getting that irritated, snippy, and again, it could come in different forms. It could come in a form of sadness. It's depending on what your trauma is. And mine comes out as anger. So that is, I guess part of the, I don't want to say 12-step program, because I don't want to make fun of that program or anything like that, because I think they're very good programs. But again, this is kind of like that. It is a program. You have to acknowledge your trauma. You have to acknowledge kind of where it has stemmed from. You have to acknowledge when it's poking its head out, and what does that mean when it's poking its head out for you, and how you are reacting instead of responding to it. So those are kind of all the things that you kind of have to sit with. And it can be really, really hard because at the time, I'm not thinking rationally. And a lot of times afterwards, I'm like, that was totally me. That was not her. There has been times, though, I have gone to her and I said, you really didn't need to approach me the way you did, because you definitely triggered something when you approached me like that. And she acknowledged that, yes, she could take a better approach when she comes to speak to me about things. So we're both working on it. But I do, and this is something I've been working on all year, is how to respond instead of react. And it's also another thing could be projecting. So if you're projecting your trauma onto someone else, that's another sign that, you need to kind of sit with that and figure out what's going on there, and how you really need to respond. All right. Some of the other things is overreacting. Excuse me, sorry. Again, it kind of still falls into that shadowing on people, but overreacting in general can be a sign that your trauma is being triggered. So whether it be crying over a commercial because it just really hit home, getting angry, something that would normally make, you see something on TV or you see something in the news or whatever, and, most of us would be sad, but some of us go beyond that to the point where, like, they are so sad they can't cope anymore. I know it's definitely a work in progress, Connie. And it's hard because, I'm doing the work in Soul Shift, and she's not into that kind of stuff per se. And so I'm trying to explain to her what's going on with me, and at the very delicate way of trying to kind of explain what's possibly going on with her, because she's my boss, and it's kind of hard in that way to be like, listen, you were kind of a bitch to me, because she is my boss. But we've been together, working together for 5 years. So this is one of those things that goes round and round and round, and hopefully we're gonna somewhere along the line find the way to stop that wheel from turning. But it is a work in progress, and we've had some conversations around it. So that is definitely a start. But again, back to overreacting, definitely. And again, that's kind of that back to that reacting instead of responding as well. Again, I'm going back to the anger because that's how it comes out for me. But there's definitely, other emotions that you are going to over experience. Like I said, rage is, the anger. Sadness is another one. Like sometimes we get so sad that we really just can't cope. It got to the point for me, I don't watch the news anymore. I took all the news off my Facebook and social media. We don't have regular TV here. We just watch from the internet. We have like Amazon and Hulu and Netflix and all those. So we don't have regular TV, so there's no news. And the little bit of news I get is just what I hear at the radio at work and things. But it was too much for me. And not only was the news too much for me, but especially on social media, the comments that come along with it. When something bad happens, there's always those people on Facebook that just are mean and nasty and are hateful. And, for a little bit, I would try to, talk to these people. And yeah, that does usually not end well. They're just mean and hateful, and they want to stay mean and hateful. And I had to kind of be like, I'm not going to fix these people on Facebook. That's not the connection that's not going to fix these people. Maybe they don't even want to be fixed per se. I don't know if fixed is the right word, but you guys know what I'm saying. Like they're just so full of anger and hatred, and that probably comes from a place of trauma for them. And so that's kind of where I was going with this is just to finish up the overreacting part is can also be concern. We can, when we don't want to deal with our own trauma sometimes, we can want to fix everybody else, or we could get overly concerned about somebody. Have you ever known that person that, or maybe you are that person, which is fine. I'm not judging anybody. We all have our shadow shit to deal with. But they will dive right into taking care of somebody. Oh, they need me. I have to go do this for them. I have to go do that for them. And as loving as that is, and as kind as that is to be helping someone, sometimes it is a way to, they're just rude, Becky. There's no way to, you're not dealing with your own trauma. So it's great that you want to help somebody. It's great that you are doing a kindness for someone, but just be aware of why you're doing it, and maybe you're doing it to avoid digging into your own trauma, your own pain. Definitely, Connie. Yeah, we are all on different journeys at different levels of awakening. That is for sure. We're not all going to just like wake up tomorrow and be in an awakened state. It's going to take a long time. And some of us are definitely not going to get it right this time around. And that's just the way it is, you know. So to kind of end this up a little bit is we've talked about, you know, pain and trauma and that it where it could stem from, and that you kind of need to you don't kind of need to, you need to identify where that has come from. You need to figure out what your triggers are. Then you need to understand how your reactions are to these triggers and maybe why these reactions are happening this way, and then work on a way to respond. And that's kind of at the stage I'm at. I'm well aware of what's going on with me, but at the time when things are happening, I still get very heated very quickly and react instead of respond. I'm still working on that whole, like, give me 2 minutes, let me breathe, and then we'll continue this conversation so it can be a decent, coherent conversation instead of me being pissy at you. But when we do kind of get to that, like Connie was saying, that awakened state, that state where we're really understanding of things, and it doesn't mean that your trauma is going to go away. It's just going to put you in a place of understanding your trauma, understanding your triggers, and understanding how to navigate what is going on with that. Healing the trauma is kind of a whole nother conversation and a whole nother video. That's not really where I was going to go with that today. It was more just because, like I said, we're going to just round out the shadow season. So it was more just identifying that shadow and things that could be bringing that shadow up for you. But when we do finally get to that stage of when something happens to us and a trigger comes out, and we can respond instead of react in a way with, you know, love, with a way of understanding, compassion, that's when you really, you know the work is being done, that you've really come to that next level. And then the situation is no longer about your trauma. The situation is about the situation and how you can be better. I'm not sure what the word is. Better coping with the situation. And it's not so much about your shadow, your trauma. It's more just about the situation and how we're coming to it in a whole new light. Instead of being defensive, angry, or sad, we're coming into it with understanding and compassion and forgiveness and working to resolve the situation. So I hope all of that made sense. Sometimes I get a little rambly, and I do tend to get really stuck on words because I think our English language, our vocabulary is not where it was meant to be. Words have, their meanings over the years have changed, and words that were not meant to be insulting are now insulting, and that's a whole nother thing. I won't even go there, the whole politically correct situation and things. But in general, I feel that there's a lot of words out there that people don't really quite understand what the core of the word is supposed to be, because now it has become something else. The meaning has become something else. And so when I'm using words, I want to try to use the best words. And sometimes that just gets me a little baffled and tongue-tied, and I look like an idiot, but I just don't want to give bad information. I want to make sure the information I'm giving is correct. So with that, I am going to sign off for today. Connie, I will do your card pull when I get home. I work till 5, and then by the time I get home and get settled in, so it'll be about 6 o'clock. I don't do tarot cards. I have a deck of tarot cards. It's a beautiful deck of tarot cards, and I can't wait to start to use them. But I just really haven't had time to sit with them And so I don't want to do readings with them until I really understand them. And there's a glare on them, but sorry. The imaging on this deck, I think, is just super amazing. I kind of like the darker. I kind of like that whole darker side. But I haven't worked with the deck enough to really feel like I can do readings with these yet. So I have 5 different, I have 6. I have 6 different oracle cards. And what I usually do is pull one of each card when I do a card pull for someone. So you will get one of each of those cards. And what I'll do is I will just message them to you. I'll message you the card, and then I kind of message you what I get from the card. And so you'll get each card like that. And feel free to ask questions or whatever, make comments. That's fine. But that's kind of how that goes for right now, because like I said, I just have not had time to sit with my tarot deck and work with it. So until I'm comfortable with that, I'm not going to do readings from there. So tarot is all new to me. The last year or two, I've been working with just oracle decks. So tarots and the tarot spreads and all of that is very different than the oracle cards. So it'll be a while before I'm comfortable with doing those. But yeah, so we'll do that tonight about 6 o'clock. And yeah, with that, I have to go to work. I'd much rather stay and hang out and talk, shadow talk, and whatever else you guys want to talk with all day. But I have Muggle bills to pay, so I have to go to a Muggle job for now. Someday that won't be the case, but for now it still is. So I hope everybody has a great day. I hope everybody has an awesome weekend. I have lots going on this weekend, so I'm pretty excited about the weekend. Can't talk about it yet, but I'll talk about it on Tuesday maybe. Exciting for me. It's probably not very exciting for you guys, but it's exciting for me. Yeah, so I'll see you guys all on Tuesday. Like I said, next week, probably Tuesday or Thursday, we're going to talk Scorpio. And then we'll start getting into the gratitude, working with gratitude, and then Sagittarius, and then we'll finish out with Yule. And then next year, 2020, like I said, I did a video Tuesday on basically what is going to be coming for this group for 2020. I'll go over it real quick, is I know it's nice to kind of get together in the morning, just have a little chat. Normally I have tea, but I'm trying to stay hydrated, so I'm drinking the water today. But it's nice to just sit with our little cup of tea or coffee and just have our little mornings together. I think it's really nice. So I really do appreciate you that are here with me. I do appreciate the ones that are going to watch this video later as well. But yeah, so just real quick, what next year is going to kind of look like is there won't be a Tuesday morning video. It's going to be a Monday morning video. It's only going to be about 15 or 20 minutes long. And we're basically going to go over any kind of holiday, any kind of lunar activity, any kind of astrology stuff that we need to go over. And then we'll go over on Monday what the video is going to be on Thursday. Because Thursday's videos, I'm going to try to have them be about 45 minutes, but I'm slotting out about an hour. So those are actually going to start at 7. And those are going to be this year as the year went through, we did the zodiac signs. Next year, as the years go through, we're going to do a chakra. So we'll do chakras January through September. And then they'll fall off because in October and November and December, I think we have a lot going on anyway. but we'll talk about a chakra every month. And then we will talk about, we're going to actually do a project. I'm going to be working with Athena's 2 books. So the chakra information is going to be coming from the Ultimate Guide of Chakras. So we're going to just go right through the book. So chapter 1 starts. All right. I love this picture. It's one of my favorite pictures. But chapter 1 starts with, why can't I find it? I passed it, I guess. Right here. Chapter 1 is our Earth Star Chakra. So we're going to just go each month. We're going to go through the book and do a chapter. And then we are going to follow the Book of Blessings and Rituals. And I love that it goes right through each month. So we're going to basically go right through here. So for January, it has 2 projects in there. So I'm not exactly sure if we'll do both of them or not. But that is my plan. So Monday, I will let you know what we're definitely doing on Thursday. And I'll let you know if there's any tools you might want to gather, things of that sort. So we can do the project together. Because I feel like, I've talked about the chakras, but not really what to do. I've said, well, you could use this crystal or you could use that oil or whatnot. And I want to kind of take it to the next level of, they're both great books, and that's why I'm using them. But I want to take it to the little bit of the next level instead of being like, oh, you working on your throat chakra, here, have a blue stone. Or here, use this oil. So I want to kind of get to the next little step of like different things that you can do. Maybe we'll make a perfume, maybe we'll make a craft. We haven't really done any of that stuff, but that's where I kind of would like to take it. And if you don't have the tools, if I tell you Monday, this is all the stuff that we're going to be working with, and you don't have the tools for Thursday, that's perfectly fine, because the videos are not going to go anywhere. The videos are going to stay there, and you can always, when you get the tools, you can go back and watch the video again. The other thing that I was thinking of trying for next year is normally I just come on in the morning and go live because everybody kind of knows that it's Tuesdays and Thursdays. But what I was thinking is maybe Thursday's videos, I don't know about Monday's videos yet, is actually making it an event. And then that's way it's something that you can share if you wanted to. So. And they'll be easier to find the videos after. If you go, you can go back to past events and find the videos. Because right now, if you go to the videos tab on Facebook and look at my videos, it's just a whole screen of my face. Like all these little thumbnails of my face. And you don't know what any of the videos are for. So it's not a very good tool to go back if you want to watch a video. That's why I ended up creating the YouTube channel, because those videos I can title them and put a description in them and things of that sort. I don't expect to gain a huge YouTube following, but it was easier for anybody in the group who wanted to watch a video to go to the YouTube channel and find it. It was easier. And it was easier for me even because I've had people like, oh, I'd really like to watch that video. And I could just go find it on YouTube, copy the link and send it to them and to their, their private message. And they would have it. So the YouTube channel was easier for me to work with the videos, but I'm thinking maybe if I create an event for the videos, then if you're looking for the video, you can just go to past events and they'll be dated or something. We'll go by date or something. I'll give them a title with a date. All a work in progress. So now for 10 minutes I've been saying goodbye to you people. So love you. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. Have an awesome weekend. Remember, be kind. Your kindness not only is going to change your day, it's going to change someone else's day and potentially somebody else's life. So lots of love. Thank you. Bye.